Okay, year 5, we're having a little session this week on the water cycle. Okay, and we want you to learn about the water cycle at home from this video, but also from your own research. And then in your topic lesson, or perhaps in your science lesson, you are going to be asked to present everything that you have learned on the water cycle. So it's very important that you listen in this lesson, or in this video, about the water cycle, so that you've got lots of things to talk about when it comes to presenting your information. So I do believe you've already learned a little bit about the water cycle, but this is what we're going to look at first. We're going to look at what happens in the water cycle, and then we're going to look at some key vocabulary as well. So the most important thing to remember is water never ever leaves the earth. It is consistently being cycled. It goes around and around and around, and it's being cycled through the atmosphere, the ocean, and through land. This process is known as the water cycle, and it is driven by energy from the sun. Okay, so solar energy. The water cycle is crucial to the existence of life on the planet. Okay, we need water to survive. We have to drink it every day. So here's a picture of the water cycle, and you might think, wow, this is really complicated. But if you need to have a little look at how the water cycle works, just pause the video now, and then you can look at the picture. So the first thing we're going to look at is the word evaporation. Okay, and you can see in these two red circles here, this is the process of evaporation. Evaporation of water from the sea, and evaporation of water from maybe the hills or from the land. So during part of the water cycle, the sun heats up liquid water and it changes into a gas by the process of evaporation. Water that evaporates from the Earth's oceans, lakes, rivers, and moist soil, so damp soil, rises up into the sky, up into the atmosphere. Okay, and the gaseous form of water, most of you will know as steam. The next key word we're going to look at is transpiration. Now, it's something that we haven't really talked about in class, but transpiration is a bit like evaporation, but it's evaporation from plants. Okay, it's a bit like plants sweating. So any water that's held in plants or in trees evaporates, and it also goes up into the atmosphere. Another key word, we have condensation. Okay, condensation is when gaseous water or steam or water vapor cools down and it turns back into a liquid. So evaporation is moving from a liquid into a gas, and condensation is a gas back into a liquid. So as water in the form of gas rises higher and higher and higher in the atmosphere, it starts to cool and it becomes a liquid again. This process is called condensation. When a large amount of water vapor or water gas condenses, it results in the formation of clouds. Okay, so clouds are essentially just water. Next one, precipitation, or a very fancy word for rain. When the water in the clouds gets too heavy, the water falls back to earth, and this is called precipitation. There are lots of other factors that make things rain, okay, but normally when it gets too heavy, it starts to rain. We have runoff now, very, very self-explanatory. You can see that picture there. What is runoff? When rain falls on the land, some of the water is absorbed and it soaks into the ground, and it forms small pockets of water underneath the ground called groundwater. Most groundwater eventually returns very slowly to the ocean, but the other precipitation, so the rest of the rain, it runs directly into streams, which are small rivers, or straight into the river. Water that collects in rivers, streams, and oceans is called runoff. So it's run from the ground down into a river, into a stream, or back into the ocean. So here we have a more simplified version of the water cycle. Okay, so if you need to have a little look at how the water cycle works, just pause the video here. And here is a good little starting place for you to have do some research on the water cycle. So during your topic lesson or during your science lesson, you're going to be asked to present everything that you know about the water cycle. So you may need to watch this video again, or you may need to do some further research. I look forward to seeing all of your work later in the week.